right, let's call our Cleburne County Emergency Communication District meeting to order. Ms. Cobb,
Here.
Mr. Dolan, Mr. Hill, Mr. Hendricks.
Here.
Y'all all here?
Here.
And no one asked to speak. Any business? Approved minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor saying aye?
Aye.
Motion carried. You said aye, Ms. Cobb?
Yes.
Thank you. Unanimously. Grant shift differential. Whereas the Cleburne County Emergency Manager requested a recent grant in the amount of approximately $46,000 be used to allow a shift differential, whereas the grant must be used for salary, benefits, compensation, whereas the shift differential complies with this requirement, whereas night shift workers will receive an additional 50 cents per hour, which will amount to $1,200 to $1,500 per employee per year. Therefore, the Cleburne County Commission resolves to allow the grant to be used for shift differential.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor saying aye?
Aye.
Motion carries. Reports from staff.
Appreciate that. So it's just kind of straightforward. We issued 12 addresses last month. We've been super busy with our call volume. We had one ESC activation, which of course that means we bring in additional employees and make sure that we're ready to go for any severe weather. Just our everyday in and out activities. Last month was National Telecommunicator Week, and we had several agencies reach out and recognize our employees for the job of the day. So we thank them for their time and their thoughtfulness. And we did get the grant signed and it was submitted, so all of that paperwork is in order for the salary and benefit $46,000 grant. And that's about all I have.
All right. Any questions for Kristen?
Working on that door.
Thank you.
Mr. Odom?
No report, sir.
No old business? Any discussion items?
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Second.
All in favor saying aye?
Aye.
Motion carries. We adjourn.
Time.
Y'all, mind before we start the meeting, John's gonna greet y'all and talk to you.
Sure. Let me tell y'all, I'm excited to be home.
We're excited to be
Just
home.
for a few minutes. I was very fortunate this past weekend. I was down in Baldwin County at the Administrators Conference and at the Engineers Conference, and I saw Commissioner Owen, and one of the things that he was doing was actively working for all of them. Not only was he doing all the meetings, but during the presentations, he's taking pictures of all the things that were being introduced and making a list of questions that we needed answers to. And we talked for a few minutes, and I asked him a couple of questions, and I said, look, one of the things that I want to make sure that y'all know is this. I mean, we entered into an agreement between Wagner Engineering, and I'm sorry, some of y'all went out, I'm assuming a lot. I'm John Merrill, and I work with Wagner Engineering in Birmingham, but I'm from here. My mom's married Merrill, my dad's Horace Merrill. He passed away in 17, but anyway, I still feel like I'm from Heflin, so I feel like everybody ought to know me, but that's my fault, so forgive me for that. But anyway, we talked for a few minutes, and I said, you know, y'all signed a contract with us when Lee and Commissioner Cobb came to Washington. We met with Senator Britt's team. We met with Coach Tuberville specifically. We met with Congressman Rogers specifically. Just had an opportunity to make sure that they knew what we were trying to do with a particular project in her district, that we have gotten a commitment from Senator Britt that they're going to recommend that it be funded. But I went up to the commissioner and I said, tell me about some of the things that y'all are doing. I asked him about a couple of things specifically that were introduced in that conference. And of course I saw Lee down there too, and we visited for just a minute, but it was
I was working on it.
Officially, you work hard all the time. That's a given, coach. They pay for you to be down.
We'll put his fancy back on, didn't
Absolutely. And so I asked him this question. I said, did you know that there's other things that we can do besides infrastructure projects, roads, bridges, building new buildings, doing long-range planning, water and sewer projects and all of that? And he said, I really wasn't sure what all y'all could do. I knew y'all were doing this particular project because we approved it. And I said, well, look, I said, one of the things that I want you to know is this. You've already signed the agreement for the member-directed spending, the strategy work that we do. So let me just work for you and help you get some other things done. He said, what are you talking about? And one of the things that he had done was he was looking where they were talking about helping with funding for law enforcement. And one of the things that concerned me was, are you doing everything you can to help the sheriff's office? Are they making specific requests that they could make of y'all to help? Because one of the things that's been the case with Cleburne County since we were founded is that we don't have enough money to do everything we need to do, everything we'd like to do, and everything that should be done. And so one of the things I expressed to him that I had done for Silicaga recently was I went to see them, I guess it was in January, maybe February, and had a meeting with the mayor. And I'd already been over there a couple times before, and I was talking to him about something I thought was of interest to him. And then he said, look, can you wait a few minutes and let me get the police chief up here? And I said, sure. So he came in, and we started talking, and he said, can you help me get some squad cars? And I said, sure. I said, how many do you need? And he said, 10. And I said, I don't know if I get you 10. I said, but I think we can do something. So when I got in the car, I called Coach Tuckerville. And I said, look, we need some help in Talladega County. In Silicaga, they've got a lot of growth going on. They've got some issues. They've had some issues with some of their vehicles that they use for patrolling. Can you help me with this? And he said, how many do they want? And I said, they want 10. He said, I'll do 4. And I said, we're going to take every one of them. And so I called the guy back that I had been meeting with, along with the mayor, along with the chief, and along with his clerk, and said, look, this is what we're going to get. We want to get the squad car the way that you want it. Now, I'm not talking about a base model. I'm talking about the way that it needs to be. It's got all the bells and whistles, everything you need for law enforcement. And of course, because of where you're physically located, it's even more important for y'all to have all the bells and whistles on your vehicles, because you got all that traffic coming out of Georgia, the drug traffic, you got people that are trafficking people that are coming from Texas, going to Georgia. And so we need all the advantages that we can get, just like Bill Partridge has got in Oxford. So when I talked to him, he said, well, I think the car will probably be about $65,000. I said, does that cover everything on it that you want? And he said, no, I'd like to have a couple. I said, what do you want? And he said, it would be about $80,000. And I said, then that's what we're going to get. And so the bottom line is this. They're going to get 4 squad cars that are going to cost $320,000, and they only have to put up $80,000. So they're getting to pay for 1, and they're getting 4. And you can do the same thing with the sheriff's office if you figure out what you need. But the other thing I want to tell you was this. You know, I talked to the sheriff down when we were on our trip. She met some other commissioners that we had, which y'all met at some of your meetings before, but you may not know. But Clark County and Lowndes County went with us too. Well, when we had finished our meeting and y'all already left to go back to Atlanta, I took them to the Union Station there just to get a hamburger. And so we were over there eating, and one of the commissioners said, do you mind if we call the sheriff? And I said, no. So they got him on the phone, and I was talking to him. He said, you know what I need? He said, I need an X-ray equipment that will help us reduce the amount of paraphernalia that's being introduced into our jail. He said, I don't have a problem with my officers. I don't have a problem with people that are working for me, but we got some federal officials that are working for us because we have federal prisoners. And so I need one of those things about a little bit bigger than that door there, where when people come through, you can tell everything you need to tell, just like TSA does over in Atlanta when you fly out of there. And I said, well, how much is it going to cost? And he said, I'm not sure, but I'll get back with you. Well, I called Bill Partridge, and I said, how much does this cost? And he told me. And so I called the guy back and I said, we're gonna do this for you, it's $115,000. He said, how'd you get so quick? I said, I got a friend that I can call and make sure we get what we need. Same thing happened in Silicago when I called the chief back. He said, you know what else I need? He said, I've got a problem with doing fingerprinting. And I don't know what kind of fingerprinting y'all use, if you use a digital, or do y'all have a digital? Okay, great, because they didn't have the digital. They're still using the paper and the roll and all of that crap. And he said, sometimes we release people and it didn't take, and so then we got to track them down again. So we got the digital digital fingerprint for them. And I called Bill, and he told me how much the elite version would cost. I said, that's the one we get for you, it's the best. And so what I want to tell you, and the reason I brought y'all those packets, I want you to look through that. I want you to see some of the projects that we've done. I want you to see some of the other firms that we're a part of with our Trilling Engineering Group. I want you to see more about my firm, specifically Wagner. And then I want you to just think, what is it that we need, that we want to do? You don't have to pay me a dime for any of this. You're already paying me. You already entered into the agreement with us. We want to make sure that we're taking full advantage of the relationship we've already established. Some of the things that we're doing, and of course we hope to get the project that Commissioner Cobb and when y'all get ready to let the bids, I mean, we want to bid on that, we hope to get it. We want to make sure that we help you with the specs for that, just like we're doing other things. But we're working all over the state. I mean, I've done storm shelters that are also community centers. We've done the other work I just mentioned to you, which most people would not even associate with engineering. But the most important thing is you taking full advantage of the resources you've already committed to our firm to let me work for you and do it for nothing. If you've got an A-Trip project, if Lee wants to do an A-Trip project or a TAP project, we'll do the application for him and for y'all at no cost. At no cost. We may not end up doing the work, but we'll do the application for you at no cost, independent of what I'm already talking about with our strategic services relationship with you. Because I want to do that for you. I mean, I want to do more work for you. Don't mistake me, okay? But I want to see you do all you can do, and I want to be able to help you as much as I possibly can. You know, I was just meeting with Mary Wood down in Ashland before I came here, and just like a lot of other small counties, and y'all know 53 of our 67 counties are all rural. But we have a lot of firms that once they get the business with you, they are going to take their time to get the work done. Sometimes it puts behind. I won't say who it was, but Robbie and them had a relationship with a firm to do some work out there on 46 out by your place, your restaurant. And they had $1 million grant they had to get back because the firm they hired them to do the work in over a year and a half did not do the work. They had to get a grant back. And there's no excuse for that. Now, he definitely told them they'll get it to them again, but there's no excuse for it. It's just about people knowing that Cleveland County is a small county. Heflin small town. We don't have to make it a priority. Well, it's priority for me. And it always has been. It'll be a priority till I'm not in this world, just like it is for y'all. So that's all I had, Judge. Look, does anybody have any questions for me? I know you all have my phone number, but I wanted to make sure you had those packets too, and I want to make sure that you call me anytime that you want to.
And
This has got the work cell in there
working
too.
with us, but also I did get back in touch with Tony Bill's office.
Oh, I know, and you got a
$250,000.
$250,000 grant for some law enforcement equipment, which I think they told me you hope would be used for maybe some of your animal control efforts.
Work releases.
Yes, and that's it, because it was like, but anyway, yes, I talked to Coach and I talked to Emery about that. Emery told me you call me in person about that. So I'm aware of that, and that's the kind of thing we can do to help you, and we can do the application for you to do that and make sure everything's filled out and it's done in a timely fashion, so you don't have to be concerned about, are we going to make the deadline, are we not? So that's, yes, sir.
So the engineering on a rehab on an elevator
Yes, sir.
for the courthouse there in Cleburne County Courthouse. Y'all can engineer that?
We can. Now, our firm, Wagner, may not be the best firm in our family of firms to do that work. And if we're not, then one of those others that's on the front page of that sheet you're looking at right there, Commissioner, will be the one to do it, and the cost will be the same. And I'll still be your guy
Okay.
with them to make sure that they're doing what they need to do the way they're supposed to do it.
That would be something sweet, if we could get something to get us an elevator from up and down, wouldn't it, Ryan?
Sure what?
An
We do the
elevator.
chair.
Yeah, that chair's, sooner or later, they're gonna outlaw that sucker, I believe.
Well, look, I mean, I know y'all remember my daddy, and most of you probably know, some people here may not know, my daddy had artificial leg. So he had, this leg was amputated well before I was born, like 6, 7 years before I was born. But, you know, he always had to wear a prosthesis. And so when he was circuit clerk and he'd go upstairs, he walked up those stairs every day. And he never said a word about it, but that, you know, everybody can't do that. And he was able to do it, but people that are in wheelchairs are at a disadvantage. And you gotta have an alternate hearing location for them, and that's an inconvenience to the judge and the clerk and all the people that are involved. You know, so it's just, it's tough. But yes, sir, we can do whatever you need done, we can do it. And if we're not the best firm to do it, I'll make sure that you're connected to the firm that is, even if it's not a member of the family of firms that we control. What other questions y'all have?
We just glad you're here.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to come. Anytime I have a chance to come home, it's a good day for me. But when I saw him the other day and we got to talking, I'm like, when's your next meeting? And he told me, he said, just come home. So, of course, you know, Judge Robertson thinks so much of me, putting number 1 on the agenda, as you can tell.
No, you don't need to.
That's what I said. I'm not paying attention either. Okay, so nobody has got anything for me? I appreciate it, and we'll reach back about that elevator and see, and we'll reach out to you and then see where we need to go with Lee and all that.
And follow up on the police car.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay.
And the reason I wanted to go ahead and come now instead of waiting until the fall is because the cycle for funding is over. That ended, matter of fact, it wasn't long after we were up there. And Senator Tuberville's closed first, and Senator Britt's closed a week after that, maybe 10 days after that. The House members opened and closed in a 3-day window. And we already had all of our work done, but they opened it and closed it. You know, I mean, it was done like that. But what we want to do, and this is the thing I was explaining to Lee and to Commissioner Cobb, is that one of the things I've taken pride in what I've done is when we go to see a member, we go to see the member that is most attracted to the project that we're taking in. We don't want to just take a project and say, will you help us fund this? We want to talk to the people that we know want that kind of project done. And that's the reason we went to Senator Britt on Commissioner Cobb's project. And it's the reason that I went to Senator Tuberville on another project. And it's the reason I went back to Senator Britt on a big interstate project in Tuscaloosa County and Bibb County. Because each person has their own area they're focusing on in a particular funding window. And we want to make sure we're going to the right person so they'll be more excited and enthusiastic about that. So when we do this patrol car effort,
So you need a specs on that?
for the,
Patrol car?
not today,
I mean, when it.
but yes, sir.
Okay.
And I want to know everything that you want in it, because I want you to ask for the best, because I want you to have the best. So we want to make sure that we're getting what you need in order to go the direction we want to go. But we'll make sure that just about everything we need is done by October and November, before Thanksgiving. So when it comes time to start doing the application process in the spring, we're already ready. Because I'm going back to see them in 2.5 weeks, and I'll be up there for a week, meeting with everybody again, talking about where they're focusing on for fiscal 26 and all that. Because that's the best way to make sure that we're being effective in our request to the members.
Okay.
Anybody else? Thank you. Yes, sir.
So, when you use the word 10 patrol cars, you wind up with 4.
4.
So if we add patrol cars and like a TMA director's car, what I'm saying is it's best for us to try to make sure we got our list, so we might wind up, we only get half of what we asked for.
But, well, this is the thing, Commissioner. What we're going to do is we're going to make sure before we ever make a formal request We already know what they're gonna approve.
Okay,
I'm not gonna take something and say, okay, we want 6 vehicles, okay? And then we go to them and you want the motorcycle like Batman used to ride, we're riding on the sidecar, and then you want 3 other cars, and then you want a paddy wagon, okay? We're gonna make sure we know what they're going to take and what they want to advance to the appropriations committee. We're not gonna go and say, this is what we want. We'll have talked through all of that
Okay.
to make sure we're already where we need to be.
we'll have a tight list. then.
Oh, yes, sir, and we want to make sure that it's everything you want it to be, including those extras that we talk about, because, you know, you have different needs than a lot of other people do, because you're county and what you're serving, so we want to make sure that we're hitting everything that's best for y'all. It's about tailor making it for y'all. That's the most important thing. Okay?
Thank you, Jim.
Thank y'all so much, good to see you. Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. All right, I'm gonna call to order our Cleveland County Commissioners Court. And I want to welcome everyone here. Roll call, Laura Cobb,
Here.
Emmett Owens,
Here.
Jerry Hendricks,
Here.
and Roger Hill. Let's all stand and pledge allegiance to the flag. Mr. Hill, will you lead us in prayer? Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Our Father, we thank you so much for this beautiful day you have provided us, Lord. Thank you for life, and we thank you for all of your blessings, Lord. Your love and your grace that we make tonight, Lord. Let's pray that you would help us make decisions that will be pleasing to you. I ask, Lord, you look in on the sick and the aged surrounded by us and touch them is our prayer this afternoon. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
So we had no one here as far as asked to be on the agenda that given to an appropriate time. I appreciate y'all delaying the meeting so that Mr. Merrill could speak. Comments from officials or board. Sheriff, you want to come up and talk about, you want to see about the possibility of adding something to the agenda, but I'll let John speak about that, and then I've asked Mr. Odom to look at a resolution that we might add.
I want to add before it's total, want to add it to add the surplus. We finally took the offer on the, I think I spoke to you on the last one, about the 43,000 with the counter offer. So we should be getting a check maybe within a week or so.
So you get 43, you're keeping the vehicle?
No, they're going to get it.
Nothing left on it, are
No, I think we salvaged everything with the salvage.
The insurance company would require taking possession in order to pay for it.
And that's what I thought, but why do we have to surplus?
Because it's on your books as an asset, so this is a formality in order to take it off the books.
Y'all want to consider that? I'll let Mr. Odom read the resolution if y'all ask to add the new business.
You want me to read it now, or do you want to wait until we get to that point?
We can read it at that point, but y'all are good with adding that.
Yes.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. You were the motion, who's the second?
Laura.
It's the other way around.
Okay. We'll add that, that'll be D.
Yes, sir.
There's another resolution that you have, I want to also look at adding. If you'll read that one.
This is a resolution under the Rebuild Alabama Act, whereas the Cleburne County Engineer submitted an application under the Rebuild Alabama Act annual grant program to obtain funds to resurface 4.91 miles of County Road 66. And whereas the application was selected for approval and awarded up to $331,500 in Rebuild Alabama funds with a local match commitment of $81,500. Now therefore be it resolved that the Cleburne County Commission approves and accepts the grant funds and commits to expend $81,500 as the local commitment to be funded from blank. I didn't know where you're taking that from.
Yes.
I'll entertain a motion to add that to the agenda.
I'll make a motion that we add it.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of adding that to the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. That'll be E. Thank you, Mr. Owen, for your help. You have anything, Adam?
Yes, just real quickly, I know that y'all had wanted me to give y'all an update, and I hadn't done that last month, so, but to date, Coroner's office has worked 25 calls for the county. We've had 5 assists other agencies in making debt notifications, so that's where we're at, just kind of giving y'all a heads up on what's going on there. Everything's going good with the mold. Expedition's working great, everything's good there.
Anybody have any questions for Adam?
That's 25 since
January
last
1st.
October. Okay.
Since January 1st. Right now, we're having about 5 a month.
We have Miss Tammy Perry here with the city of Heflin, who also
given you basically the main things that I covered at our last industrial board meeting. So these are the most recent things that we've been working on. And I'll be brief, I know you've got a lot on your agenda. I'll leave one right here.
okay.
And I know I have policy on there as a city, which to us, I mean, when there's anything going on, it warrants, you know, there's a lot going on there, and it warrants a report, I feel like, every month. So I always include that on our reports and our discussions. So I'm just going to quickly scroll through this, and you guys can stop me, ask questions. There's the most recent activity I think that was definitely worthy is the Hearts ribbon cutting. That is so exciting for this whole county. And if you have not seen it, I think most of you may have been there, but if you have not seen it, please go see it and see what their plans are for the future. And when they get the top floor finished and it being a full resource center, I don't know anywhere that's got a group like that to help our county as much as they do. So these are just a few of the projects that I've been working on lately. This is the second one is a contractor. They're a contractor for Southwire, and the competition is us and Carrollton. And of course, one of the issues, of course, have not ruled us out because honestly, this company really wants to be in Alabama from Kentucky. But it's all paper and it's all business, and the mileage that it will take to get from Heflin to Carrollton, vice versa, all the trips they'll have to take, and also the land prep. Because the land we're showing them is at the industrial park, and as all of you know, we do have one area that is flat. That's where we would want them to be. The most work has been done, but they would still have to have some more work done. So I just texted them just a few minutes ago, and there's still no answer. So that project is still out there. It will be 15 jobs, about a 20,000 square foot building, and they repair reels for Southwire. And there's just, I think Southwire is trying to do a lot more things in-house, because you know, anyone that works at Southwire, there's a lot of, my machine was down, or, you know, a lot of downtime. So Southwire is trying to change things and make things easier for the company to keep rolling and not have any downtime. So this will be one of those things. The next prospect is something I can't really discuss, but it is a large expansion. And I have just found out about it Friday, so I don't have a lot of information, but I need your help as commissioners. If you've got any property close to a highway, 30 to 40 acres. Like I said, I don't have a lot of information, but I do need your help. If you have anything that we could offer them, send me your ideas, because I want to offer them anything that we can.
You say next to a highway, does it have to be where there's sewer?
Well, I don't really know yet, because he's not told me a lot, that's the problem. So I've got to call, I called him Friday afternoon, he hasn't called me back today. So I would think, yeah, I will.
If it's, depending on what it is, depending on what it might be something where they're just
True.
offices and mostly
True.
just workers and stuff like that, so.
Yeah,
Like out in Ramblin', they don't have sewer, but there's a big company out there now, so.
right. And
sure.
I'll find out, because I haven't had him, he hasn't filled out a questionnaire or anything for me, so I don't have any particulars, but I would like to offer him some options if we have anything, and then we'll go.
Are you saying state highway, or could it be like 36 or 13 or something like that?
It would be truck traffic, by what I understand.
I have 68 in Cleburne, so I have 78.
Right off 78, okay, well, send me that, exactly where that is. Because I think that would definitely make sense.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. I want to offer them everything that I can when I.
Because if you ask me, I'm trying to find places that's got city sewer, so.
Right,
if
and that
you
may not be,
yeah,
and then there's
that's
the
a big
gas,
thing.
gas could be an issue, and that could knock a lot of it out too, so.
Right.
But I guess I put the cart before the horse, but I want y'all to be thinking about it
Okay.
in case, and then we can rule out what we don't need.
When you find out what you need for utilities and stuff, can you just shoot us all an email?
I will.
But let's go ahead and be looking.
Yes, I will. I'll find out. Hopefully he'll call me back in the morning. Okay, and the Siege grant, that is a grant that has been offered to us. We'll be the second phase around. We weren't ready the first time, but we knew there was gonna be money left over. So it's something we're gonna be applying for as soon as they say go. We've got a meeting with an engineering company and, the guy from EDPA that actually helps approve all the grants. And this would be for the industrial park. And as you know, you usually cannot get a grant until you have a business attached to it. This is different. This is a grant that we could get money for the road or prep, or even the plans, which we already have that, so we don't need to work on that. So this is actually really the way most of these grants should be, because we know it's held us out on so many because we don't have a business to where we can get the industrial access road. So anyway, this one kind of goes, it's kind of proactive. So I'll give you guys more information about that when we decide exactly. We're probably going to apply for phase 1 of the industrial access road. They've got it broken up, I think, into 2 phases, and hopefully, and that would be a matching grant. The city would have to pay about $500,000, but they're going to hopefully give us ways and ideas that we won't have to come out of pocket, because we don't really have that right now. So we want to try to figure out ways that we can do in kind in different ways that will help us not have to come up with that. I just recently, last month, went to a retail academy. This was gifted to us. A lot of cities have went through this, and I've never done it before, but I actually decided, because a lot of the cities said, oh, it's not worth your time, but it really was worth my time. And they've given us a packet and resources. A lot of the information we can get to other places, but they can kind of compile it together, and it just kind of gives us ideas of places that would come here. So you're not wasting your time looking for places that won't come here and the numbers don't match. They kind of do a lot of work for you. So that was really good. I just got to dig into that. I've got a meeting, a follow-up call with them next month. Ramburn, just some updates there on the tree brand expansion. Just an update that the town voted no unanimous on the abatement. The next things they're still working on is the turning lane, the internet, the spire contacts. Senator Price is working on those at a kind of a higher level. To kind of hopefully get some of those things. I think internet's going to be the hardest always, until some money comes down that kind of makes sense to help some of these smaller companies. But right now he is trying to help us on those things, because they definitely need a turning lane, because it's getting pretty dangerous with those trucks coming down, and they're having to pass the entrance and have to go in somebody's private property and turn around. So we've submitted information to Cooper and Aldott and different things that we need to do, so hopefully we can get some help there. On the water tower grant, Josh Horn is working on that contract. I actually spoke with Terry earlier, and I But we're waiting to find out, he's made contact, and he's waiting on information from Cleburne that we need where the contract can actually be done, because the water board is gonna have to take possession of the land and the water tower. And then the hot contract will state that Cleburne will keep up the maintenance for the future. It's just will help us, help get money from the state to help offset the cost of that water tower, and also help with us get some USDA funding and loans if it's through the water board. So, and the water board is met, and they're on board to do, anything they can do to help. So we've got that going. Just some information of where the Cleburne County Rodeo will be. That's one of our larger events in the county, and that will be at the new Lost Creek Arena at Butler's Tack. It's very nice. I love what they're doing there. I think it's going to be an asset to Bangor to have multiple rodeos. So, and I didn't put the date. I'm sorry. I thought I had. I can't remember. So, and Hollis, the quarry. I think the water permit is what they're waiting on, and I said this is very normal. That the permits take the longest time, and it's just a whole process. So there's 1 or 2 permits they're still waiting on to see if they will be able to open there. But everything else has looked positive for the most part. Taylor currently moving in. They're doing some moving of buildings and other things like that. But they're going to move in the old Tysons. They're moving in there as quick as they can. Oxford's really, it's been hard for them. It's hindering them in ways because it's so hard for them to get their trucks out on the highway there. So they're eager to get back in Cleburne County, and we're definitely eager to have them back.
I've represented Taylor Corporation since 2007, and I can speak on behalf of Lance. He's very excited to bring Taylor Corporation to
Yes.
Cleburne County.
Yeah.
We're excited because I was afraid I would sit there any much longer, but it's exciting. He truly loves Cleburne County, and he's doing a lot of things that he didn't have to do in Cleburne County. And
I handled that sales contract with Tyson.
yeah. So the quarry situation will benefit us when that gets going. So he definitely is doing what's best for Cleburne County. I'm proud to say he's from here. The Old Dollar General Peach Pistol is available for sale. Nothing wrong there. She just is relocating and building a building in Fruithurst. So she's still going to be in the county. She's just building out by her house. But it is going to be available for sale. I've talked to several people about it. One of the options may be to split it in half because it's still a very large building. You know, you've got to have that right person that would want that much space. But I've talked to someone about it, and they kind of throw around some ideas and maybe splitting it in half and doing maybe restaurant on one side and something else on the other side. But this is just talks. This is just from the few people I've talked to. In Fruithurst, and I did not have time to follow up with this because I did this about a month ago. I requested a project study for the land beside Dollar General. I talked to Laura about that a while ago, and I've asked them to do me a study so we can show what the market need is there. We definitely know that anything we can keep Lincoln into Georgia is a benefit, and that should show those things that we need to stay there, and hopefully it warrants another business there. Tina Riddle has resigned from the board because she took a job in Villa Rica. So we just accepted her resignation, and we've not discussed replacing anyone at this time, which is recently. So I've just listed our board members here, and I did not put the next meeting. I had told Laura I was going to tell y'all, but we did have to call an emergency meeting. I skipped the traffic study, didn't I? I'm sorry. I'll tell you this first. We had to request an emergency meeting for last Friday because of this business we needed to take care of. But our next meeting will be June the 6th at 1 o'clock at City Hall. And anyone's invited to attend if you want to come and meet our members. Usually we'll be close to an hour, usually right on time at 1 because it's during Zach's lunch break. So we try to keep it within an hour. But the reason for our emergency meeting was... Is that
1 o'clock?
Oh, 1 o'clock. June the 6th. Yeah, 1 o'clock. We had to, 7-Eleven, as you all know, has been working on project by 205. And the state's not going to give them the permit for the egress and the, okay, I got this mixed up again.
Ingress and egress.
Yes. So in order to do this, it requested a traffic study. And it was requested for us from the industrial board to pay for half of that traffic study. we definitely see the need, we definitely see how important it is. The traffic study will not only help that business, but it will help that whole area. And as all of you know, there's been a lot of traffic in that area, a lot of discussion. And I think this will help, hopefully the state see what we need there. So the board voted to pay for half of that traffic study. So they should be getting that underway, and hopefully that will help that business open as quick as possible. And it is actually being done by a contractor, not the state. So, someone that's been contracted out, so they'll get on that fairly quick, so. Any other questions?
Any questions? Thank you.
Is the reason we're not getting a retail business is just because of our population?
And what type of retail business? Depends.
Anything. These, like tree brands and all that is great, but it don't really benefit us. What benefits us is sales.
Right, I agree.
So-
A lot of it, it depends on what kind of retail business you want, though. If you want something larger, our numbers are not. I've reached out to a few things that are more on our list, like factory connections. There's not a lot of things that fall in our numbers and rooftops. When you look at our county and our population, 75% protected forest, knocks our numbers down a lot. But give me some ideas, I know
What about the Taylor outlets? Has anyone reached out to them in a while? They were approached, 5 years ago.
I don't know, I haven't, and a lot of those are shutting down, except, a lot of them are half vacant. But I could, you're talking about what is it leaves?
It leaves, it's the closest one.
Yeah,
And then the next one's gonna be in Commons, Georgia.
yeah,
So
it could be a
we're
possibility,
in a good area.
yeah. I'm still trying to get it to see. A lot of people are responsive, and if they're smaller business, a lot of people, I talked to like a donut shop, and some people that are, mom and pops, and they're not doing anything this year until after November. And that's been a lot of the response, so hopefully that will be better after November. But y'all shoot me ideas, you've all got my text, if you like that, I don't mind reaching out. Doesn't hurt, anyway.
All right, thank you. Chris, do we have anything involving EMA or anything like that?
That's right.
Are you, anything? Okay. All right, let's go forward. Bid openings, awards, presentations, scheduled public hearings, consent agenda. I have not seen it. Everything has been initiated.
I make a motion to accept.
I second it.
Any discussion? All in favor saying aye. Thank you. Unanimous. Moving on to new business, step raises. Whereas the Cleburne County Commission intends to institute a step raise for employees to start in fiscal year 2025 and every October 1st thereafter, whereas the step raise will be performance-based, relying on an evaluation and recommendation of the department head, whereas the employee will be limited to a maximum one-step increase per year based on their evaluation, whereas pay increases formerly known as equity increases will no longer be given as of October 1, 2024, whereas each department head will receive an internal audit from the human resource officer to sign and ensure that the new rates are accurate. Therefore, the commission hereby resolves to provide step raises starting with the first full pay period starting on or after October 1, 2024.
Make a motion.
So,
Well, I think he was a little bit ahead of it. Second? Okay. Any discussion?
My question is, if we start this, are we not gonna give, additional raises yearly or at all?
I mean,
Yeah.
you just said me,
Yeah.
and I think that's just gonna be up to you as a,
But what I'm saying is, if this here comes to be and we're giving regular hourly employees raises, you know, we're changing over a lot of our elected officials as far as full-time, that's their living. So,
Would you interpret this a certain way, Mr. Owen?
It's the first time I've seen it.
Okay, okay. Yes, Ms. Collins?
Also, I have requested, and you may have seen it today, because I had to check my email, a 5-year evaluation of what it was
You
going to
should
do.
have a copy of that in your paperwork for the.
So I haven't had a chance to look at it, so I'm asking for the commission to table this until we have an opportunity to look at it a little bit more, but I'm asking for it to be tabled.
All right, so are you making a motion
I'm making a motion
to the table? Do we have a second to table?
I second.
We have a second to table. Any discussion on tabling this? All right, all in favor of tabling this, say aye. Those who are opposed to tabling it, say aye. It's tied. I'm with the nays. Let's keep it now. So, now, Mr. Hendricks, you made the motion, and I think this may be your idea. Did you have something you would like to address the commission as far as answering Emmett's question in your interpretation?
I mean, this is just step raises that were proposed, but when we did the pay scale. You can still do COLA, you know, any year that you want to, but this is just a way to get people from base pay to the top of their pay scale, which is an 18-step, right? 18-step process. And it's roughly 40 cents, but, you know, some people's gonna get more, some people's gonna get less. Right now, we paid off the jail, we're looking at $215,000 that we're not gonna have to budget for next year. If we're gonna do something like this, now's the ideal time to do it. In my opinion.
Okay. Anybody else?
Well, I'm just trying to figure out, and that's what I was looking at, because in 5 years, that's about $370,000 in the 5 years, I'm sitting right here. And the only thing I'm saying is these are locked-in numbers. And I understand the valuation, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna max out exactly what the numbers are. I'm just trying to maybe look at some of our elected officials, new elected officials that are coming in, and then if you get, only way elected officials are gonna be able to get a raise is if we give a raise, and then you're looking at any kind of raise is gonna be about $70,000 to $80,000 a year. So once we lock it, that's all I'm trying to say. And I mean, I understand more money, but I would like the commission to maybe look at taking and doing away with our elected officials getting raises when our employees do, and just set them up the same way we're setting our employees up.
My opinion on that is that if we can just get something started, and once we get something started, then we can look at amending it for that. And this 5-year deal right here, that's an estimate, because that's figured it off the employees we have right now at this day. So that could possibly go down if people retire, people leave, and you hire new employees, they're gonna be less of a raise than aged employees. So, I mean, that's just an estimate right there, is all that is.
I'm for the step raises.
Yeah.
I just know, I mean, we're part-time, so I ain't really worried about, not saying I'm not worried about us, I'm just worried about people that's their livelihood. Ryan's livelihood, he's been here, and over the years, he has collected raises, he makes a fairly good salary, but you got Lane coming in behind him. I'm just saying, somewhere or another, I just want to say, I'm with you, if you're willing to help support getting with our legislators and getting something that we can follow suit, because these people that are elected officials that are full-time, they deserve the same courtesy as our employees.
I mean, I agree.
And we got an engineer sitting right here, how does it work for him? Huh?
What I'm trying to do, no matter what, I would say, you gotta get something started. If you're gonna do all this, then we're gonna have a stack of paper this big. Let's just get something started, you know. I call for a vote.
They're ready to vote?
Once you start this, the there's no turning back, but my question, there's a couple questions I wanted to ask him.
Real quick, Ms. Cobb, he did ask for a vote, but go ahead. Run your question, out of respect.
Yeah, I need to ask, because we just, like I said, she just handed this to me. Emily, on this 40 cents, that's the average of each employee, from your lowest paying employee to the highest paid
This is
employee?
an average of 40 cents. So I just took everybody's increase and I just averaged it out and I came up with 40 cents.
But the main thing is the 70,000 mark, so that tells you what it is.
All right, ready to vote? All in favor, say aye. Motion carries unanimously. Employee handbook, whereas, Cleburne County Commission is aware that the employee handbook will need to be amended to include step raises for employees, whereas the commission agrees that the county attorney should be the one to make the amendment to reflect this change. Therefore, be resolved that the Cleburne County Commission hereby tasks the county attorney to execute order for the changes in the employee handbook. Make a motion. Got a second? Can I get a second? Yes, sir.
And I would like to amend that. We should get some input, Jason. We got on here to amend it for the step raises, but if we've got any more issues, could we do like a complete update? You know, like I think I talked to Emily, and I think there's a couple more issues that's sort of in the gray area. Can we word this where you can look at that stuff too?
I would recommend that if you've already approved the step raise change, you go ahead and approve this resolution as is. If there are other areas that you want to discuss in next month's work session to do an addition. I'm not gonna have this done before next month's commission meeting.
Well, this is not gonna go into effect till the new budget.
Right, so if you have some other areas, then they can be discussed at next month's work session and a resolution done, and then they can all be worked in.
So it's pretty much need to keep them separate then, not just.
I would, because you don't know exactly what the other areas are.
Okay, thank you.
So it's as read. Everybody good with that? All in favor saying aye? Motion carries. New business C, whereas the Cleburne County Sheriff requests that an uncertified deputy be hired to replace a certified deputy that will start training as a new jail administrator, whereas the current jail administrator will maintain the position until such time as his term as the newly elected probate judge commission chairman begins, whereas the deputy training as jail administrator will remain an employee of the Sheriff's Department, which leaves no opening for the uncertified deputy to be hired. Therefore, the Cleburne County Commission agrees to allow a temporary change to the Sheriff's Department to allow for the hiring of a new deputy to last until a certified deputy becomes the jail administrator. Entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Got a motion, have a second? Got a second, Ms. Cobb? Any discussion? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I would like to explain this a little bit clearer, because I'm a little confused. So you're gonna have a person that you're gonna, when, White moves his position, you're gonna have a deputy stepping in there, but you don't have anyone that's certified.
That's what I'm moving a certified guy into Wayne's spot. So while he's kind of cross-training, I'm gonna be down a deputy, so I was wanting to see if we could hire a part-time deputy until Wayne takes office and then that deputy rolls over in the Wayne slot as the jail administrator.
Now,
But, Ms. Cobb, I think you had forward.
I guess
Hold on a
I'm
minute.
going to say, because for your officers at the school's about to be out, they're not going to be able to fill that position.
Well, one of them, I think, took the whole summer off. And then the other one, I mean, we're using him, I mean, he's fixing to go on a transport to UAB, so we gotta have one, gotta have surgery. I mean, it's just, I mean, I can't, you know what I mean, designate one for there, because, you know, we're using him for transports, and he helps Sam too. Like traffic control, and he needs to work on picking trash up on the road that needs a little extra traffic control. And like I said, Clay ain't gonna be he's gonna be the one promoting, but he's not gonna be just strictly like on him every single day. You know, it'd be, you know, just whenever he needs help or he might have a question, you know what I mean, or something new comes up, Wayne needs to show him. It's not gonna be like he's with him every single day. It's just the majority of the time would be Wayne.
You're really down one. So-
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
Emmett?
Yeah, so Lane works at your discretion, I mean, that position's at your discretion.
Yes, sir.
So are you gonna change it from just a administrator to a police officer, I mean, to a deputy?
He's just certified, he's just been certified jail administrator.
Oh, okay, but he's gonna be
Yeah, he's been a jail administrator, he's just been a
Okay.
certified deputy. And the reason
I didn't know if you was, okay. I
Yeah,
understand
and the
what
reason
you're
I'm
saying.
doing that is because a lot of times we have stuff that goes on in the jail, and we have to call an investigator in to investigate it, and I can just have a jail administrator to handle it, or, we have a lot, we have a lot of arrests that come in, so we have to call a deputy in to come do an arrest, and he can just knock the arrest out and keep from calling the deputy back in.
Okay, I understand that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Chief?
Now I'm confused. Okay. So the job description for jail administrator is gonna have that you gotta be a certified deputy to be administrator?
It's not, no, I ain't gonna change it to, it's gotta be a
Yeah,
certified.
it's just,
I'm just promoting a certified deputy to that position.
Okay, I understand.
yeah.
All ready to
I'll
vote?
tell you for the price of one.
Mr. Hill?
You got money in your budget.
No, sir, I have to amend my budget for that.
We don't know what that's gonna be yet,
No.
but we'll do that toward the end, I guess.
But,
And two, also, well, I ain't trying to interrupt, also that position would fall off once
once the, button,
once Lane took office and the deputy would get promoted, then that position would fall off, and it'd be just taking up the deputy's position that got promoted, so.
go ahead.
Chair?
You don't have a dollar figure or an estimate of what you're gonna have to amend your budget?
No, sir.
You're looking at.
I really don't know how long.
If you hired somebody today, you're looking at between now and January, 6 months.
Well, now you're gonna have a new budget.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So it just be September.
Yeah.
So you just really got
Yeah.
whatever you hired October.
Well, really, it will be the January. because-
It will be, I mean, you
Yeah,
still
but
have to add it.
But Lane won't be there until January.
You'll
They're
still,
talking
It
about-
just be until new budget.
you'll amend it
You have to add. that
between
to
now and
your budget.
October. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, off the top of your head, $30,000?
I wouldn't have a clue, do you?
It really depends on how long it's gonna take to
Hire
hire.
one too, yeah.
It may be a few months for.
And if he's uncertified, he's gotta go to school too.
Yes.
Isn't that what you're trying to do, John, is trying to coordinate it with the police academy?
That also, yes.
Yeah.
But the police academy just started, if we have to hire an uncertified one, so it's gonna be, 4 months before another one starts up.
It's best to get,
And you may have some in your budget to
It's possible,
to
yes.
move over.
Yeah,
Okay.
Emmett?
and it's best to get a jump on it now.
yes.
Then Lane's, we know Lane's gonna be there.
Y'all ready to vote?
I'm ready.
All in favor saying aye?
Aye.
Is that all 4 ayes?
Yeah.
Good. I have to really listen. Ms. Cobb? Moving this down to D, the surplus, will you read that one for us?
New business item D, whereas the Cleburne County Sheriff is requesting the surplus of the following vehicle due to the vehicle being involved in a collision and considered a total loss on March 22nd, 2024. A 2023 Ford Interceptor, VIN number 1FMV6PGB99096. Therefore, the Cleburne County Commission hereby authorizes the surplus of this vehicle.
Make a motion.
Got a motion? Got a second, Ms. Cobb? Any discussion? All in favor saying aye?
Aye.
Motion carries. And we're moving it to E, he read that earlier. Is there everybody good with that? He read that earlier about?
Yeah.
The only change is that I filled in the blank to be funded from District 1 gas tax funds.
Everybody good?
What was that, what was the difference, 80?
81,500.
275,000.
Congratulations on that, too.
Yeah, congratulations, Ms. Scott.
Thank you.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Ms. Cole makes a motion that wasn't a second.
She made the motion, I apologize. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Who made the second?
I did.
I missed it. All right, any discussion? All in favor saying aye?
Aye.
Motion carries. And that concludes that. Reports from staff. Our county administrator.
Commissioner Owen and I attended the ACAA conference, which is always a very interesting and educational experience. It really is a very good conference. If any of you ever would consider Merrill, you'd find that it's, we're always addressed by the examiner, we're always addressed by county risk services, and they do have information each year that is important for us all to know. Also, we did advertise again for the county finance officer position, and we conducted interviews and have chosen a county finance officer. The only thing that we have not done at this point in time is we have not passed a resolution to add that to the administrative office organizational chart, so we will need to do that. He is set to start June the 10th, which is about 3 weeks from today. And I have already ordered, and Crystal helped me, already ordered a computer for that office and trying to get him set up, because that takes a little while to get all the software and everything added onto that computer for that person. And this person, you all may know, Tracy Williamson, is who I agreed to hire for that position. I think he's going to be an asset and be a good person to learn. I'm going to put him in the office just right on the other side of the beehive for me, so I can just have a lot of hands-on training and get him involved in some of the online coursework for our accounting software and any other educational opportunities that I can give him for that job. All right, and the only thing else I have is I will be traveling later this week. I will be leaving Wednesday and be back first of next week. Of course, Monday's a holiday. I may work that day, or I may work it from home. But I will definitely be available. I'm going to be traveling, but I will be available. I will have my laptop, so I will still be able to do just about anything that I can do here. So please reach out to me if you need me during that time.
Any questions?
Please, I did have a question. Maybe. On the one that's on the internet, were you ever able to reach out to them and renegotiate that?
I have called them, I have emailed them. My finance department's called and emailed them, and they have not been all that reactive. I have sent another message over to them today, asking them to reach out to me, that we need to get that straightened out. What it is the same thing that happened in Elaine, and is they just all of a sudden went up on the bill. And I have not even seen a letter or anything. It turns out we did have a letter in their file, but I had not seen that. And our internet service went up quite a bit, about 33 to 35% went up. So I have reached out to them. From what I understand, they will offer a 12 or a 24-month contract and get you back down to where your rates are fairly similar to what they were before. But I'm trying to find out what that number is and so that they're going to offer. Like I said, I finally, it took us, we had to kind of jump through some hoops to even find out who our representative was, but now that we've got that person's name, it's just not been a real quick thing to get a call back or a response.
I have reached out to, I spoke to the one about it, I have reached out to Parker that has the fiber that runs down through here. We had, or the county had approached them when they first put the center here, and he is actually going to go back and reevaluate that and get back with us. He's going to contact me. I've asked Lane to sit in and Crystal just wait. So I'm about to see if I can get Crystal. I'm not an internet person, right?
I'm not either, I know how to use it, but I don't know a lot about
Hopefully, you know, maybe this would be something for us to look at that can save us, and it's connected to the mainframe, the same one that Gigabyte connects to. So hopefully we'll have
Well,
something.
the main thing I want to make sure is that we don't have to keep paying an outstanding, just a tremendous bill. And even if we have to sign a contract with London to make that down, I know that the commission can get out of a contract if they need to. Because we don't need to wait, 3-4 months. And it may take that long.
A 2-year contract can get out pretty quick.
Do you have something, Mr. Chairman?
Yes. I reached out and talked with CJ, because I know CJ with Gigafive has been working this area, and I think some of the stuff that went on when he was meeting with him, but I know he's meeting with Southwire. So they're looking at running Gigafive through Southwire. He's also, I got a call in Brianna, she never called me back today, but I'll call her back again with Alabama Power. They're thinking about from their main box down 78 and then back up to Southwark. They're thinking about going in the air with it. He said as soon as he's supposed to get back with me, but that's something that he is meeting with Southwark. I don't know the capacity or what the capacity would be with Gigafive of what we've got now. But from what I hear from y'all, it ain't like it's splendid. But I think that's just one of the options that it would be considerable less with Gigafive than it would with them. But I know he's meeting with Southwire this week or the first of next week. But I reached out to Brianna for her to call him, because when we went and met down in Clayton, we talked about this when they went down and met with them about running it in the city of Clayton, city of Lineville or Ashland, whichever one. But he's been working on that. But it might be that we might have Gigafive, because I also told him that the school board, we have that 4-inch main line that runs from the tower. Ain't that right, Miss Crystal still?
She left.
Okay, but we paid for that. We paid for that line coming up here, so I get into updates on that piping that's already in the ground, that I know he's talking about going in the air with it, but it might be that he wants to go in with the ground. But that's another thing, another option that we might have, and Gigafive is real cheap, so.
underground fiber, is that what they ran?
They actually run off of Parker. I spoke to.
Y'all get a chance, include Crystal and Lane, because I think there's a question about, you brought up to a point about your.
Yeah, it's not just as simple as swapping your home internet. I mean, Gigafive or whoever is gonna have to take ownership and give us those IP addresses, those static IP addresses we use. Everything's gonna shut down. I mean, nothing will work.
Yeah.
No matter how fast it is. So, I don't know if they can, I'm assuming they're capable of doing that, but it would take some coordinating to transfer those over, or, like, it wouldn't affect the office staff, but like 911, everything runs through that fiber, and if there's a mix-up on those IP addresses, you may dial 911 and it go to
Kansas.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get CJ if he comes in, but this is something they're working on, these just options, and so we'll need to make sure we look at that.
I didn't realize that, but he said your IP address is very important. And I imagine it is for her in there too.
Yeah.
I know it's complicated, I've seen companies do it before, you hate for your internet provider to basically be blackmailing you, knowing that you don't want to change over to another company, so I think just the checking out options is not a bad idea, but then you have to consider whether it's worth the cost savings to go through everything it takes to get everything changed over, so, but it, certainly you should look into it.
That's all we're doing now, is just trying to explore the possibility. I mean, this fiber will run straight down, the school's connected to it, and I would assume that the county, what you're talking about, is who they're connected to, because they sell to the company like Gigabyte.
Right.
But this is going straight to that company.
Well, I imagine Southwater's probably got some of those, some high tech.
Producer, the plant producers went to them, and they're very pleased with it.
We'll look into it, I'll get, Lane to get with CJ, I mean, we ain't gonna do it tonight, so we'll be glad to walk through the first.
I just wanted y'all to include,
Right.
especially because of his, not only the sheriff's department and their situation, and, yeah. Any other questions for Lisa?
I was gonna say, the only other things that we've been working on, I don't tell you everything we do because the list could take all day, but, you know, things like liability insurance renewals, workers' comp renewals, those are things that we do all the time, and that's all happened pretty much since we've met. Also, our, ARPA reports have been done this month. That's something we have to do every year in April to show all of our expenditures and what's left of our ARPA fund. All that's been turned in, all the backups turned in to the IEC to make sure they have copies of everything that we have in a file showing all the POs, all the copies of the checks, everything. So just so you know, those things are always being done, but I don't always update you on the fact that we've sent all that in, so.
I know I asked you the other day, but just to bring it up to the commission, so which audit are we working on as far as completing, and which one is the last one that we completed?
21 was done, 22 is getting close to being ready to audit. It's not quite ready to audit yet. Melissa and I have worked together. The problem with 22 is really what it boils down to. This is my first year that I was here. So we had a new office staff, just a lot of things to correct, but most of that has all been cleared up now, and Melissa and I are working together. In fact, I talked to her last week, and probably in maybe next week or so, she and I are going to start scheduling some hours to work together to kind of get it knocked out. And the good thing about it is the things that we are finding that, you know, we're making corrections on, if they were something that we were doing wrong each month, then I'm correcting 23 as well. So 23 is going to be much easier. So I'm actually trying to kind of kill two birds with one stone on this. And while she's here, any questions that I have about 23 items, I'm getting her to clear that stuff up too. So hopefully we will catch up. I hate that we're, you know, a little bit behind on audits right now, but talking to the county administrator side, I don't think that we're the only ones that struggle. It's, putting those financials together is a chore. And like I said, now that we have a staff that's been here for a little while and we've all been kind of working on the same things and we're figuring out what needs to be done. And, you know, when I find something that's not being done correctly, whether it be transfers or EFTs or anything that has not been done correctly, I try my best to put notes. They know I keep notes on our shared drive so that at any point in time, even if you're thinking, I can't remember quite how I did that last month, you pull up and there's your notes on exactly how you did it before to get it right. So, you know, made a lot of improvements since that first year. So, we're getting there. I can't give you a date exactly just yet because I do rely on Melissa to help me with those financials. So it's a matter of catching up with her and getting with her to finish some of these things out. And I'll still have some things to pull for her, but most of my work on it is done.
I just want to keep it on my beacon. And did they find out they hired them a new administrator in Calhoun County, or do you know, Jason?
Haven't heard anything yet.
I haven't either. I know Mark Tyner was at the ACAA conference, and I had asked Melissa if she was going, and she wanted to go this year, but they had somebody out in their office too that they just couldn't all be out at the same time, so she was not able to.
I know the rumor is around Calhoun County, but I'm not at liberty to say.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions for Lisa? Yes, sir.
This is a question for her and Lee both. The ARPA money, that $452,000, I think, it was split up 4 ways.
That was LATCF money, yes, it's state money.
That's gotta be a project assigned by the end of this fiscal year or by
December.
Obligated by December 31st, 2024, and
Spent by the 2026,
Yep.
December 31st, 2026. So certainly you need to be making a plan because it's not enough to just pass a resolution saying that you're going to use that. You actually have to have a plan in place and have it obligated in the form of starting to request POs, starting to get your, if you have bids involved, we're going to start getting those things done. So I wouldn't wait till another money to do it, let's put it that way. Make a decision pretty soon.
Get it done quick.
Just jumping back to something that we had talked about while we was doing all our talk. On projects, just so we know, like on paving projects, what is the, when we start the job and then there's got to be the final advertising for a job. Okay, so what is a good program to make sure that that job is completed and advertised those 2 weeks? Because that is a finding if we don't do it correctly. And the striping is the last thing. It's just like this, you know, if you're the cleanup man and you got to detail the job out, 9 times out of 10, my cleanup man will be the last one to get paid.
What I'm wanting to do though is to start holding like a 5% retainage on everybody to be paid out at the end. That way the striping man.
It's this part, but then it's a 5%, and that's sort of what, but, so you're gonna set that up and make sure you're gonna find out if we can do that?
I'm actually, I'm trying to find out exactly what he needs to do for this. We kind of got just a little bit of a note about it last time we had an audit, that we have to be really careful to make sure those advertisements were done before the project was closed. If it's a contract with a particular company, you got your contractor, he's paying for materials and he's doing all the things, it's really easy to just withhold like a 5% retainage. And they'll oftentimes just go ahead and send an invoice based on that, and it'll say, you know, here's your 5% retainage. And at the end, you're paying the last part, maybe it's the last 5% of the project, and then you're paying the retainage. And that tells you right then that needs to be advertised before you pay that final bill. And usually the contractor is the one that pays for that. They send the advertisement in.
Usually when we usually held a 10% from the contractor, then everybody that touched that job would give me a release. In other words, the contractor then would give me a release, and then at the point of that release from all those contractors, then
it's all the subcontractors.
Yeah, and then I send that contractor, whoever, that release.
Now, the issue is that a lot of these projects are public works projects that he's doing with his maintenance bid. So I am not positive whether we have to have that advertised. We have been doing it, like since we kind of got that little side note from the auditors, we've been doing it even with projects that are done with gas tax money or whatnot. And we just, because we don't withhold retainage, we've been advertising because which contractor are you going to get to do? You know, if you're using several, and we use several, by using maintenance bids, we're just using one contractor that's over some subcontractors or vendors if it's materials. So it's kind of a, you know, how exactly do you need to do this?
That's the way we'll find it.
And if you're going to do retainage, are you going to do retainage from all of your vendors that are involved or your contractors that are involved? So that's the question that I sent out to Brianna at church, and she, you know, I asked her one question and she popped back, she said, is this public works? And I said her yes, and I haven't heard from her yet, but I will. She's good, she'll get back with me. And then we'll know for sure how to handle it, because right now what's happening is, you know, you got your materials and then your main contractor that's doing most of the work, and then you got the little guy in that comes through and does the striping on the road, and he's waiting for his check for a month before it be advertised. Which, I mean, that's just, sometimes that's what has to happen, but there may be a better way. It may be better to withhold the retainers. That's in this situation.
I just want to make sure we're all on the same page with it.
Right.
Alright, we ready to move? Any other questions? Lee?
I just quick update on the transportation supervisor. We had 23 applicants. Got in touch with 10 of them, scheduled 2 interviews, and nobody showed up. So I haven't done anything else for that position. I have had 11 people that have been very regular calling and know what's up. 4 of those is really 2 or 3 times a week. And they're actually pushing doctor's appointments and stuff back because they don't have the transportation to do it. That's just kind of where all that stands. It's a 1-year contract. It's up in September. Typically in June we do approve the budget for the upcoming thing, so that is coming up. But I just still don't have a good direction on
Any questions?
Do we need to just go ahead and vote on this contract? Because we might vote on it next month anyway. But if you hire somebody now, and we vote next month to discontinue the contract, it's not gonna be fair to whoever you hire. So is that something we need to vote on tonight, or?
that. And if we do discontinue, if you think we gotta look at is what we do with the van, and then I need to go back and see what all East Alabama's paid for, iPads, phones, computers. We have to figure all that out too, so.
It's not a big.
But if everybody agrees that they want to continue this, then you can make a big push to get it done, but if we're gonna turn around and vote next month not to do it, then that's gonna be a lot of work, and then somebody's gonna be
Somebody's going,
angry because you hired them, and
and that's really the reason I'm asking, is because at this point, I don't want to feel it, and then it disappeared a couple of months.
But you can't get anybody to show up to look at it.
Just hold.
Yeah.
You put it out there twice, and
I don't have this, you can't get a driver, then we don't have no choice. They don't use us filling something, we can't get somebody to drive to do it.
we're gonna make that decision tonight, or wait till next month.
You might continue to try to find a driver there.
I don't think it'd be fair to anybody if you did, but that's not.
I think,
So I guess my question to say that is if I were to find a driver, would that job then continue on, or?
So we need to add that, would we be able to add that now?
Well, you could, but again, it doesn't sound like you have all the information.
I mean, what information do you not know? I mean, it's just.
We were talking about additional information from East Alabama.
I'm just, if we just discontinue it, that would be the stuff we'd have to figure out.
If you hire somebody, just hire them as a temporary employee.
when we look at our next work session, if we,
Big next
June
meeting.
3rd.
They'll know that
2 weeks? Work sessions in 2 weeks, right?
That's pretty nice.
And that'll be in the work session, we're not going to go for that. Right? You drag feet.
I guess that's kind of.
I think he's asking,
I drag or I'm not dragging, that's what I'm asking.
I get the perception. I think you get perception of dragging feet. Y'all good with that?
I have a question with, too, I mean, are we gonna have to, like, the van goes back, are we out anything that goes back?
Because
Under that contract?
the 11,000 that we put in, if it goes back, they'll sell it to another county, another municipality, sell it, whatever, and we get our portion of that. There may be some depreciation portion of it, but yeah, we get that money.
Well, it's just
How much would they sell that van
$2,000.
for, you think? We bid on it?
It's just 2 years old.
That's like the city might, maybe I might bid on it for them. Again? Okay. I'll find out about that.
Okay, anything else? Any other questions? Mr. Owen?
Just wanted to thank the commission for allowing me to be excused last month. I think you all saw the paper, that was a good use of my time, and I appreciate you all understanding that. I also attended the following, 2 weeks after that, the city and county government seminar down in Orange Beach, which I've been going to annually now for 14, 15 years, and I appreciate the commission covering the cost of the class, the travel and everything else I cover out of my pocket, because it benefits my practice as a whole, but it specifically helps keep up with everything that's needed for county government, so thank you for that as well.
Okay, any questions? Old business, none. Discussion items? Anybody? Chair?
The Randall mayor reached out to me because they have discontinued the town court to change the jail contract to the same thing Heflin's got. So that's something we need to think about for next month.
Okay. Any other items?
Yes. Some commissioners had talked, brought up about, ID board. I had reached out to, Mainstream, with the city of Heflin and talked to their representative. And then, and what she did, she put me in touch with Chambers County. And what they have done is a co-op, and it's a countywide co-op. And this here's the package that Chris sent me. Now, while I was down there taking the classes, I also didn't meet with him, but I stayed on the phone with him 2 or 3 different times. I went by and talked with Tammy today about it too. And what it is, it's more or less like in Ramburn, Fruithurst, Heflin, and in the county. It sets up a co-op where it really needs to be all or none for it to work. And what I want to do is take time this next month, and you know, if Tammy wants to be involved with it or whatever, just to sort of get an idea of what all cities, municipalities, and I've sent y'all a copy of all this. And it's also stuff in there for the municipalities, for businesses and stuff like that, and it also has the bill. The thing about this, it's a piece of legislation that our legislators would have to vote on, or that would look at it and approve for us to do this. One of the things that as far as talking to Chris, it's like city of Fruithurst, city of Ramburn, it would help them bring some skin into the game. And you know, you sort of got to go, they are small, they don't have a large budget. The 2 big people, or the 2 big dogs in the room would be the county and the city of Heflin. But what I think I need to do after I've sat and looked at it a few days that I've had it, was to go and meet with city council members and the mayor, because even though Ryan can talk for us, at the end of the day, you gotta have the votes at the table. Just to see if this is something that y'all are interested in doing. You know, I mean, we've talked about it, and if y'all feel good about it, but to put this together, it's going through the legislators. And then, but we can also, at the same time that I'm dealing with this, to bring together a package that the county wanted to do, an ID board, then I'm going to reach out to some counties our size and see what their county-wide boards are. And, you know, also get the feeling, I think it's going to be this needs to be a county-wide project. When I mean county-wide, that means everybody. So to get everybody in the program, and I've spent some time talking and yakking with this. So I think our first thing is what Chris had said too, is he says, you know, and I said, well, I don't know if we're planning on doing that, but if we plan on hiring somebody, he says it's sort of like having the correct horse and then buy the wagon that fits the horse in a way. So it might be that once we sort of look at this and express this here to some of our municipalities and some of the people in the county, then look at if we decide that we want to do it in-house economic developer, and then have them also in charge of bringing this together. So if you did it that way, and we hired an economic developer in-house, then as we go ahead and put our board together, if we choose to do that, and then later on, if our legislators in the county-wide adopts this, then that individual will still work, you know, with the counties. They would be employed by the county, but they would really be under this board, sort of like we are with Crystal in a way. So that's the only thing sometimes with this, because this here answers to all the people just like we do as far as economic development. Everything will go through the co-op, but unless you adopt, you know, like a local where we create our own board, but it has, in here, every board member, legislators even have somebody on the board. So it's really pretty good, so I guess y'all looked it over a little bit. Okay, so if y'all would like for me to go and visit with some of the municipalities in the next month or so, I'll be glad to do that and give them all a copy of this. I would like for us to make sure that we read it before we hand it to somebody else. And, because I do want, I did tell Tammy I wanted her to look over it and see what she thought about it. And just sort of see how it goes.
So what we need to decide is which type of industrial board we're looking at.
And so,
Once you choose, then we know which road we have to go down.
First, you gotta reach out to your bigger
Well, it's like,
municipalities and see.
Well, if you don't do the co-op, you don't.
If you guys are interested, and can I speak?
Yes.
If you guys are interested, I talked to Ian about this today, I think a great step would be for us to come and have a meeting with you guys and Brenda Tug from the Department of Commerce, because they have a rural department now that is really, really strong, and help her, you know, get some more insight from her too, and she might be the very one to tell us who to talk to. I'd love for you to talk to her.
yeah, and that's the reason I'm saying what I'm saying right now. If it's me, Roger, me, Laura, Roger, Terry, whoever they want to do it, and I think sometimes it's better to go to them or sit down and have a call with them. But that's the reason why I brought it up to you today, and I think that's a good idea. Anything that we put together, because we all in it together, I think we're just trying to improve it a little bit more than what we are now. And it might be at the end of the day, we like what we got.
So you gotta get your research first. Get all the
Well,
research.
that's the reason I got this here.
Yeah, then you gotta make the next step.
we need to contact all the players,
Right.
make sure they're on board before we can progress.
That it's gonna work.
Yeah. So I'll come back and see you again.
So go ahead.
Okay? That's all I got.
I got adjourn on number 12. Are y'all ready to go there? You got
I
something?
got a German too.
How about a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor saying aye?
I had one
Oh,
thing.
wait.
You had one more thing.
Back up.
I was trying to read this, you know how it is, you gotta move my phone.
Well, we'll adjourn, but go ahead. I bet everybody respects you enough to listen.
I was gonna stay in session to do this.
Oh, okay.
I'll pull mine back.
Really?
All right, we're gonna table it there for a minute. As the chairman, go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to go to executive session to discuss a contract, the county contract we have issues with.
Do we have a motion? Second.
Make a motion. We go in the executive.
So,
Session over the contract.
all right.
And the purpose for this executive session, I have reviewed the matter on which the Cleveland County Commission is currently considering convening an executive session. Said executive session is necessary for the commission to discuss with their attorney the legal ramifications of and legal opinions for pending litigation, controversies not yet being litigated but imminently likely to be litigated, or imminently likely to be litigated if the commission pursues a particular course of action. In my legal opinion, this matter is appropriate for executive session pursuant to section 36-25A-7A3, Code of Alabama 1975. Pursuant to that code section, a copy of this letter will be attached to the approved minutes of the Cleveland County Commission, wherein the commission considers a motion to convene an executive session to discuss this matter with the council.
How long do you think this would last? This,
10, 15 minutes.
okay. So we did never vote to adjourn. Do you see any conflict with what happened there?
The motion was pulled back.
Yeah. Okay.
I apologize.
That's okay. No,
So you need a motion, a second, and then a roll call vote in order to go into executive
I
session.
make a motion to go into executive session.
I'll second.
okay, we have first and second to go into executive, so we'll have a roll call vote. Ms. Cobb?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Mr. Owen?
Yes.
Mr. Hendricks?
Yes.
Mr. Hill? Yes?
Yes.
We do have a roll, so we'll have a The motion and carry the vote is to go to executive meeting for approximately, say, 15 minutes, or more, but hopefully 15 minutes, and we'll ask everybody to clear the room, and then we'll come back and vote to adjourn after that 15.
So can we take a chance?
Get out of this? All right, so we're out of executive meeting, we're going back to our regular meeting. Any other discussion, Mr. Hendricks?
I want to look at our holidays next work session too, because I don't think we're in compliance with what the state is, and I just think we need to look at them. That's something everybody needs to think about, I think.
Okay.
All right, you ready to adjourn?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor saying aye?
Aye.